Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's first person. Okay. Please hold on. Yeah. You are all welcome. My name is Ahmed Sulaiman. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Archaeology and Anthropology, University of Ireland, Nigeria. Myself, Dr. Suresh Balola, the result of this session. And we have 4 presenters today. So I think the first person is on the line now.
Okay. I would like to confirm those who are available.
Okay.
We have Yanoluwaje Ademola Popola.
Okay, I think she's the one.
Inyolu. Oh, sorry. Then we have I don't know how to pronounce this. Bright. Are you available? Yeah, there is a Bright.
Can we have it in that order?
Exactly.
I think the first person here is from this list is Inyolua, and she's online. Inyolua, yes, she's the first person to present, followed by Bright from South Africa. Okay, yes, from South Africa. Okay, then the last person to present is John Hyang from National Commission for Museum and Monuments. So, Ianu, are you ready now? Ademola, okay. Popola Inyolua. Yes.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes. Okay.
Please go ahead.
Please go ahead. Let's have your paper.
Okay. Can you see my screen just fine?
Yes.
Yes, fine.
Okay. Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Inyolua, and I'm a doctoral student at the Department of Anthropology and Bioethics at the Pennsylvania State University. And I'm excited to present my research on reconstructing identities, a bioarchaeological analysis of the 13th to 15th century skeletal remains from Benin. This study sheds light on the lives and identities of individuals from this historical period, emphasizing the importance of bioarchaeology and understanding our past. So just a quick warning that I have pictures of human remains in my slides, so if this is a problem for you, please kindly take care. So bioarchaeology is the study of human remains from archaeological contexts, which offers a unique window into the lives of our ancestors. Ancient skeletal remains uncovered through bioarchaeology or bioanthropology provided information about sex, age, health, diet, pathologies, migration patterns, demography, and other sociobiological aspects of human history. This insight helps us comprehensively understand how people lived, how they worked, and interacted in their environment. Through this analysis, bioarchaeologists can identify patterns of behavior and social organizations that define the identities of past populations. So we can understand this at the group and individual level, where we can explore genetic relationships and kinship through biological traits. We can also explore what social positions or social classes and people's cultural affiliations through their burial practices or grave goods. We can also understand people's occupations or physical activities or lived experiences by studying physical markers of labor. So this study is set in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, an area with a rich historical and cultural heritage. The Benin Kingdom was a dominant power in West Africa from the 13th to the 19th century, but little is known about the biological past of the people who created this beautiful artwork. The skeletal remains analyzed here were excavated by Graham Connor between the year 1961 and 1964, the Clark's Quarters, which is a significant archaeological site that provides a glimpse into the lives of individuals from this period. Thus, I sought permission from the University of Ibadan, Department of Archaeology and Anthropology, to conduct sexual dimorphic studies using osteometric and morphological techniques. Sexual dimorphism are the physical differences between males and females, providing essential clues about gender roles and social structures. By examining those differences in skeletal remains, bioarchaeologists can infer the division of labor and gender-specific activities, understand reproductive health and maternal mortality, explore gender-related dietary and health disparities. Such findings contribute to a deeper understanding of the social dynamics within ancient communities. Sorry. Okay. So a total of, okay. A total of 122 remains from the Clark's Quarters were available, which included 70 femoral bones, 20 skulls, 32 pelvic bones. But not all these remains were complete or had measurable parts that I could use for this analysis. So then I focused on 73 bones with sufficient measurements, which included 9 skulls, 45 femurs, 19 pelvic bones. My methodology included morphological and osteometric analysis. Morphological analysis involved visually examining the bones for sex-specific traits, while osteometric analysis involved precise measurements of bone dimensions. So the pictures here I show are representatives of part of the skeletal remains where I measured or I visually assessed. The key traits includes the greater sciatic notch, as you can see here, and the subpelvic angle in the pelvis. And I looked at the robustness and femoral head in the femur and other measurements with, like, for instance, number 1 showing the femoral length, number 2 showing the femoral shaft length, 3 showing the superior transverse diameter, 4 showing the head circumference, 5 the femoral head length, and 6 the anterior femoral head and neck length. Also looked at features such as the skull's knuckle crest and the mastoid process. For the morphological analysis, I assessed traits known for their sexual dimorphism. For example, the greater sciatic notch is typically wider in females, as this picture rightly shows, than in males, and the subpelvic angle is usually more pronounced in females. For the osteometric analysis, I measured dimensions such as the diameter of the femoral head and the pelvic inlet. These measurements were then statistically analyzed to determine patterns that could reliably indicate sex. The rigorous approach helped ensure the accuracy and reliability of my findings. For the pelvic bones, I had at least 4 measurements, and these measurements were put into a software called the DSP2. They estimate sex based on discriminant functions. For each discriminant function, sex determination dependent on the computation of a discriminant score, which is then compared to a discriminant value, which then separates males from female. And for the skull, I looked at the shape of the frontal lobe to see, was it sloping or did they have perpendicular forehead? I also looked at the smoothness or robustness of the occipital bone. I looked at the shape and size of the knuckle crest and the prominence of the eye sockets. For the femur, I measured the femoral length, circumference, femoral head diameter, bicondylar weight, shaft robustness, and linear aspiral development. So for the results, I identified 16 females and 3 males from the pelvic bones, and 35 males and 10 females from the femoral bones, 5 males and 4 females from the skulls. The overall findings showed a higher number of males, suggesting that these individuals might have been palace guards or attendants. The disparity in the number of males and females identified could be indicative of specific social practices or roles within the Benin Kingdom. For example, palace guard and attendants were predominantly males and supported by historical records. The presence of female, though fewer, may point to specific functions or statutes within the palace of society. This result gives us an insight of sexual identity in this region. This result align with historical records from the Benin Kingdom, where a male predominance could suggest roles as palace guards, attendants, or participants in ritual sacrifices. The exact cause of death of these individuals still remains unknown because of the fragmentary nature and limited methods that we have currently. Some of the potential arguments that scholars have made includes arguments like sickle cell anemia or the popular black plague, as well as ritual practices, but further analysis is required to be able to ascertain this. Ritual practices were integral to the Benin Kingdom's cultural and spiritual traditions, and some individuals have been involved in these practices. Additionally, the prevalence of diseases like sickle cell anemia could have influenced mortality rates and health conditions. Because of the complexity of like the different arguments, we don't really know like what exactly led to the death of these people. So one of the main challenges I faced when doing this research was that the remains were commingled, so it was quite difficult to really piece people together. But then the complexity made me develop a method to accurately reconstruct the sexual identity of the individuals. Through this reconstruction, at least we are able to identify possible gender roles and demographic distributions within the population. Beyond establishing identity, this analysis provided insights into possible causes of death and pathologies that affected these individuals. This comprehensive approach not only deepens our understanding of their social structure, but also sheds light on the life and health conditions of people within the Benin Kingdom during the 13th to 15th century. So, like I said earlier, primary challenge with commingled nature of remains, we need to develop methodologies that would make research like this easier to do. Commingling occurs due to past excavation methods or post-depositional processes. So sometimes we can control for this by being careful when we excavate, but sometimes we cannot because of like post-depositional processes, people decay and things like that. So further research can also include stable isotope analysis and bone histology to study diseases, patterns, and dietary habits. Stable isotopes can provide insight into diet and migration patterns, while bone histology can reveal details about health, disease, and nutrition. Another challenge was that the database that we use as a comparison, like the comparative database, is likely developed based on European data. Developing sex determination metrics representative of African populations and so that standardizing sex estimation techniques will improve accuracy and reliability. Simplifying and standardizing methods will make bioarchaeological research more inclusive and globally applicable, ensuring technological or research constraints do not limit our discoveries. Okay. In conclusion, this study provides preliminary insights into the sexual dimorphism and social roles of individuals from the Benin Kingdom. This research contributes to a deeper understanding of Benin's historical and cultural context. However, further research is needed to build on these findings and address the challenges that I encountered while doing this research. In this research, I was able to reconstruct sexual identity, that is, who was possibly male or possibly female, and social identities such as were they servants or were they palace guards. I also want to emphasize the importance of ethical practices in bioarchaeological work, ensuring that our work respects and honors our ancestors, because it is a privilege to study these people and not a right. The findings from these studies are just the beginning. They open up many more avenues for further exploration and deeper understanding of the Benin Kingdom and other societies. As we move forward, we must continue to refine our methods, engage with ethical consideration, and collaborate with communities to ensure that our research is respectful, accurate, and meaningful. Finally, we need to widen our scope, methods, and questions asked to better understand our ancestors. So beyond just identity, to explore more questions. Beyond identity, a combination of microscopic techniques such as biomicrobiology, paleogenomics or ancient DNA, stable isotopes, and other microfluidical macrophysical techniques can be used to answer further questions.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. But Inyola, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you see, your paper is very interesting, but I'm sure our audience here, most of them are not biological scientists. They are social science students, they are arts, they are scholars in art and humanities. So I want you to please kindly make it clear in class term, the archaeology of identity in your work, so that they can, flow, because I'm sure if you are not in the biological sciences, you hardly understand what she was presenting. Please make it clear. Just give us the summary, how identity and archaeology, how they are related in a clear term, so that they can flow. If not because of my own knowledge of biological sciences, maybe I wouldn't have been able to comprehend your presentation. Please, in summary, give us the identity and archaeology in your work, how they are related. Thank you.
So basically, what I was getting at is that sexual identity, for instance, who is male or who is female, for instance, like I'm female, yeah, male. And like, so looking at the, what's it called? Looking at the biological features, like, oh, does this person have a wide pubic, like the pelvic bone, for instance, can tell you, oh, what was the biological identity of this person from ancient remains without even knowing the person when the person was still alive. That's like the summary.
I hope you are okay now. Better. Okay, thank you. Any other question? Question for her? Okay.
From the study, I feel that he has the range from 13th to 15th century. My question:
can you hear? Hello.
My question is: how did you take the population to go for its research work, the population that they use
okay.
Research work?
Okay, there's a question for you here.
Okay.
Yeah, the choice of the bones that you use. How were you able to examine population that you use for your research work? Is that what you are asking?
Yes. Okay.
What determines the kind of fauna remains? Fauna, that you use in your research work? Because if you are not careful about your choice of material, you cannot generalize.
I can't really pick the question well. I can't hear you well.
Yes, okay. Please.
You mentioned some figure in your work. That is the number of female that you use, and the number of male that you use. My question is this: because you are looking at the archaeology site, archaeology in which you mentioned, I think 13th to 15th century artwork. I want to know how you are able to identify your population that you use for your work.
Okay. So the human remains were excavated like a long time ago, and they were like in the University of Ibadan. So I knew about the human remains because I talked to my advisor and other like professors in the department, and I knew that okay, I wanted to do a research like this. So they then suggested to me that I could do this work based on like the human remains that we already had in the department. I was not involved in the archaeological work at all. All the dating I gave for this human remains were from the archaeological context that the initial researcher gave, if that clarifies your question.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
Okay, the next line is
Dr. No, next Dr. Okay,
okay. Dr. Kolawole, if you can hear us, can you please unmute and let's have the presentation.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please start.
Yes, I'm talking on restitution, identity crisis, and the Benin cultural object. Well, I'm happy that you had set the stage, even though she was unable to let us really have what its identity in what she really had actually presented. But I must confess, it's a great work and it's a new dimension to archaeological studies in this part of the world. Well, keyword of my presentation is on restitution, identity, and the Benin cultural object. But there are so many questions that we need to ask ourselves, particularly now in Nigeria. These cultural objects that we are expecting from other parts of the world, and which they've started returning, because I'm aware some universities have returned some to Nigeria. I'm aware Cambridge has returned maybe about 3. Maybe where one university in Pennsylvania has also returned maybe about 2 objects. Are we actually ready to receive this object? I mean, let all of us should be agitated about this, and all of us should be concerned, because the way things are going and the argument people are making all around is that Nigeria seems not to be ready for this object. That is number 1. Number 2, who are the original owners of this object? That could be a bit controversial, because the federal government of Nigeria is laying claims to the object. The Edo State government is also laying claims to the object. Also is the Benin Kingdom. But don't even let us go into the controversy. Let us look at these cultural objects that have been looted from Nigeria from 1897 up to present. Our concern now is purely about the Benin bronze object, not about others from Ife, from other parts of Yoruba land, or maybe from other parts of Nigeria. What are we ready for the object? What preparations are we making towards receiving this object? I'm aware the NCMM, a couple of months back, the DG was in Ibadan, the former DG was in Ibadan and was talking about, making preparations here and there. But up to now, I don't know whether they've upgraded those facilities. I don't even know the state of situation of those facilities. Now, as a nation and as a state, there are categories to it. Because as a nation, what preparations are we doing? As a state, probably maybe Edo State, maybe Lagos State, what preparation are we doing? Even as a group. I'm also aware that is an NGO, that is MOA, Museums of West African Art, who is doing a very good, they are doing a very good job in terms of building infrastructures in place and things like that. But at the end of the day, who receives this object? How are we ready for this object? And even if the objects are here in Nigeria, what are we making to showcase these objects to the outside world? Because another argument being made by people is that when these objects are outside, people have access to them. If they are in Nigeria now, will people still have access to them? And if they are in Nigeria now, would they not be relooted? I mean, these are germane questions at this time that we are in this country. And you also ask yourself this question. Now that economic situation is biting hard, what gives us the impression that these objects will not be relooted? What impressions do we have? So, talking about the identity, like I said, the identity thing is a really controversial issue. I wouldn't want us, as a conference, I wouldn't want us to go into some of the controversies there. But the objects initially were beneath bronze materials. Well, there is no doubt about it. And the object, from what we had and from the work done by the looters, they were looted from the palace of Benin Kingdom. So invariably, by virtue of those two statements, we'll actually know the real identity of the object. So now the question is, Nigeria was not a nation state as of 1897 when these objects were looted. Fine. If Nigeria was not a nation state, what would be the legal right? And that's why I said a lot of complexity comes in when we are talking about Benin bronze object. And I'm also happy that what we are discussing now is one of the themes of the World Archaeological Congress 10, which has already been accepted as a theme for World Archaeological Congress 10, because it's global. It's only a pity that in Nigeria we are treating it as if it's a kid glove thing. It's a global phenomenon. People are interested in almost all parts of the world in what is happening to this Benin bronze object. But I hope and I believe by the time we'll draw here and there, by the time we'll crisscross all our ideas from Nigeria, from other parts of the world, maybe we'll arrive at the conclusion. So The Benin bronze objects are very vital for us. They show our identity. They show the achievement of our forebears. We all know what our forebears have done, particularly in terms of using bronze objects, to show the kind of identity of whom they are. And another thing is that it also showed development. I was telling students some couple of years ago that do they know that street lighting was done as far back as 1890s in Benin, which is a recent phenomenon in Europe. Street lighting. So what gives us the impression that if we had been left alone, we couldn't have developed street lighting to the level that it will be better than what we have right now. So the whole thing is all complex, it's all complicated. It's all complicated, but the complication is not our issue here. What I want us to take home here is how prepared are we as a country to receive this object from all the nations, because the objects are all over the place. It's not only in America, it's not only in Europe. I mean, they are all over the place. Even some of it are also in Nigeria here. So if we are ready as a nation to retrieve this object, when and how and what are we putting in place to have all these objects in proper perspective? So let us all ruminate on that. Restitution is key. Restitution is global. I'm aware that people from outside Nigeria, like Ghana, like Benin Republic, they've also been returning objects in Benin Republic. They've also been returning objects in Ghana. But I'm not so sure that we are prepared to receive these objects now. But I pray and I hope that the federal government will put all the necessary measures in place through the National Commission for Museum and Monuments to let us have the object in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adekola, for your presentation. Any question? Okay, you have one, two, another question? Dr. Adekola, hope you are there.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you have two questions.
I'm here.
Yeah, first one.
Yeah, so it's really not a question, more of a comment.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Adekola, very nice to hear from you. I'm Benjamina. We met at TAG last year.
How are you?
I'm very well, sir. So I just wanted to I wonder what sort of work our scholars like yourself and other colleagues are doing to actually sort of action these ideas you are sharing. And also, I wonder in terms of sort of the general population and sort of the public consciousness of these issues, what are you and colleagues doing to share the knowledge about these issues, like the practical implications of restitution and repatriation? So as you know, I work in museums, and so yes, this is me talking from the sort of the side of the museum worker. And you mentioned the example of Cambridge. I was working in Cambridge where Professor Tijani came over for the restitution of the cockerel from Jesus College.
Beautiful.
And,
beautiful.
Yeah, and now one of the practical implications is that Nigeria as a nation hasn't really put in place structures to facilitate the practical repatriation of material that has been restituted. And here, obviously, we have to make a distinction between restitution, which is the transfer of legal ownership, right? And repatriation, which is the physical removal to the nation. So, so in short, basically, what are you and colleagues doing to actually enable an environment that can facilitate repatriation? Thank you.
Hold on.
Wow.
I have a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Mubarak Shakur, from the Department of History of Moro Musari University, Kazina.
Okay.
Mine is just a query on how this issue of returning objects. Recently, there was this return of objects away from Benin bronze to in Uganda. Recently, just like I think like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, these objects were returned back. But I want you to talk on, because what I saw is that by Professor Derek Peterson, he was saying that this was returned on the basis of an agreement. Yeah. on the basis of that maybe they are going to return it back. But it's just like a loan they were given to Uganda, this object. They are not permanently returned. So how do you see we can sort this issue out? But I don't know, maybe Professor can add because he's from also Uganda. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Are they all? Yeah. All right. Let me take. I'm happy with that Benjamin is there, and you can see that almost everything I'm saying is practically what is happening. Now, for us in Nigeria, it's quite a pity that the Nigerian government is not making enough effort. It's quite sad. People are talking about these issues outside Nigeria more than what we are doing in Nigeria. And that's what baffles me. Because right now, it's only the academics in Nigeria that are talking. And the academics are, talking using the public space. But the point is, you need the Nigerian government to also to respond to some of these issues. I mean, these issues are of public interest. Like the second caller said, materials are being returned. Even Benin Republic, some few months ago, Benin Republic retrieved some materials from, I think, Belgium or so. If you see the way they celebrated it, I think about 7 or 14. If you see the way they celebrate, I'm not even talking about celebrating the retrieval of the recovery of the message. I'm trying to say we should put things in place. Luckily, Benjamin will know what is in place in Cambridge for the materials from Benin. You see, when you look at what these people put in place, vis-a-vis what we ought to put in place, you begin to wonder that, are we there at all? Are we ready for them? Are we really ready for them? And she raised an important issue, repatriation and restitution. Actually, as it is now, it's looking as if these people will even return just anything to us. And I mean, because we don't even know which is original, which is not original, and we'll take whatever is available for us. So the question remains that the Nigerian government have to really, through NCMM, and that's my worry. NCMM by now should have a pool of researchers, from almost all the top universities in Nigeria. In fact, from everybody that is involved, so that it should attend all of them. Yes.
Hello, Dr. Adekola.
Yes.
Your time is up. Maybe some other time you have enough time to give us more details about explanation. But for now, I think another person is on the line. It has been structured.
All right.
This time. So
okay.
You can, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. And I kindly.
I think it's Inyang, Abi. Okay. Yes.
Yes. Good day, everyone. My name is Anekwino. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. My name is Anekwino John Young, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. I appreciate the presentation by Dr. Adekola. It so happens that I am a researcher with the National Commission for Museums and Monuments. So I think one way or the other, I have 1 or 2 comments to make on some of the issues he raised during his presentations. But not to waste much time, I think I will go ahead and share my screen now so that I do not use my time in responding to the comment, but rather I talk about the issues that we are concerned with for today.
Yeah.
So, hello, can you all see my screen?
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So my name, I said, is Anekwino John Inyang, and I am here to present on the Benin bronzes. And I'm so happy that Dr. Adekola has helped me to kind of like lay the groundwork for this presentation, for me to have a smooth presentation. So essentially, my topic is unveiling the essence, Benin bronzes, and the tale of Benin identity. So like I said, I am of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments. I'm a researcher.
Wow. Is it on this end? Or the network problem? Or no, it is.
Ian, can you hear us? Yes, sir.